Imagine a room that is perfectly silent. You are sitting on the edge of your bed. The sheets are cool, the light is dim, and in your hand is a small, glowing rectangle. You are waiting. You are not waiting for the sun to rise, or for a storm to pass, or for a letter that will change your financial fate. You are waiting for a vibration, a chime, a pixelated name to appear on the glass screen. Minutes stretch into hours. Every phantom vibration makes your heart leap, only to crash back down when you realize it was just an email or a news alert. You check the time. They saw your message 3 hours ago. You know they are awake. You know they are on their phone. And yet, there is nothing. In this silence, a strange and powerful alchemy is taking place in your brain. You might think you are in pain, and you are, but you are also in the grip of the most potent addiction known to the human species. You are chasing the ghost. You are desiring the one person who has made it clear, through silence or distance or coldness, that they do not desire you. Why do we do this? Why does the human heart, so logical in its need for survival, throw itself against the rocks of rejection over and over again? Why does availability feel boring, while unavailability feels like magic? To understand this, we have to strip away the romantic poetry we have been fed since childhood. We have to look at the machinery beneath the skin. Imagine you are walking past a slot machine in a casino. If you pulled the lever, and every single time you got $1, you would eventually get bored. It is predictable. It is safe. It is routine. But if you pull the lever and mostly get nothing, but occasionally, just once in a while, get $100, you will never leave that machine. You will pull that lever until your hands bleed. This is what behavioral psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. When the person you desire ignores you, they are giving you the punishment. But when they finally reply, when they give you that crumb of attention, that late-night text, that half-smile across the room, your brain is flooded with dopamine. The highs are higher because the lows are so low. You are not addicted to the person. You are addicted to the uncertainty. You are a gambler sitting at a machine that only pays out once every 1,000 pulls, convinced that the next one is the jackpot. But there is something deeper here, something that predates casinos and text messages. We have to go back to the very beginning. Think of a child. A child's survival depends entirely on the attention of their caregivers. If a parent is consistent, warm, and present, the child learns that love is a steady state. But if a parent is inconsistent, sometimes loving, sometimes cold, sometimes absent, the child learns a very dangerous lesson. They learn that love is something that must be earned. They learn that love is anxiety. As adults, we often unconsciously recreate the emotional environment of our childhood because, even if it was painful, it is familiar. Freud called this the repetition compulsion. We are like actors who only know one script. If your early script said that love feels like chasing, like proving your worth, like begging for attention, then you will walk into a room full of people who are ready to love you, and you will ignore them all. You will walk straight to the person who is looking away. You will choose the person who makes you feel that familiar anxiety, because to your subconscious mind, anxiety feels like home. Consider the concept of value. We live in a world where scarcity creates worth. Gold is valuable because it is rare. Diamonds are valuable because they are hard to find. We apply this same economic logic to human connection. If someone is readily available, if they reply instantly, if they show us their cards, we unconsciously devalue them. We think, if they want me this much, how much can they be worth? But the person who runs away, the person who walls themselves off, becomes a fortress we want to conquer. We project value onto them. We assume that their silence hides a deep, mysterious ocean of complexity. We tell ourselves that if we can just crack the code, if we can just be smart enough, pretty enough, funny enough to win them over, then we will have won the ultimate prize. We are not seeing them clearly. We are seeing a projection. We are like a painter falling in love with the canvas, forgetting that we are the ones holding the brush. There's a cruel irony in how we view ourselves in these moments. When we chase someone who doesn't want us, we are essentially trying to solve a puzzle about our own worthiness. If I can make this person love me, then I am lovable. If I cannot, then I am broken. We hand the keys to our self-esteem to a person who doesn't even want to drive the car. We place our entire emotional stability in the hands of someone who is likely emotionally unavailable themselves. And often, that is the secret. We choose people who don't want us because, deep down, we are terrified of being wanted. Real intimacy is terrifying. Real intimacy means being seen, flaws and all. It means vulnerability. It means the possibility of being hurt in a real, tangible way. Loving a phantom is safe. Loving someone who is emotionally miles away protects us from the messiness of real love. We can pine for them, write poetry about them, cry over them, but we never have to actually do the hard work of a relationship with them. It is a fantasy that keeps us safe from the reality of connection. Let's perform a thought experiment. Imagine if, tomorrow morning, this person you desire so desperately woke up and became everything you wanted. Imagine they called you 5 times a day. Imagine they wanted to spend every waking moment with you. Imagine they needed your reassurance constantly. Imagine they were completely, 100% available. Would you still want them? Or would the mystery vanish? Would the tension dissolve? Would you suddenly find their flaws glaringly obvious? For many of us, the thrill is in the chase, not the catch. We are hunters who have no idea what to do with the prey once we have caught it. This reveals that the desire is not about the other person at all. It is about the ego. It is about the need to win. It is about the narrative of the tragic hero fighting for love against all odds. Philosophers have wrestled with this for centuries. Plato suggested that we are all searching for our other half, wandering the earth with a gaping wound, looking for the piece that completes us. But the modern philosopher might argue that we are not looking for completion. We are looking for distraction. We are looking for something to obsess over so we don't have to sit with ourselves. The silence of the other person is a blank screen upon which we project our ideal fantasy. We don't love who they are. We love who we think they could be. We fall in love with potential. We ignore the reality of who they are in the present moment someone who is not choosing us, and we fixate on a future version of them that does not exist. We are in love with a ghost of our own creation. This cycle is exhausting. It drains the color from the rest of your life. While you are staring at your phone, the sun is setting outside your window, and you are missing it. While you are analyzing their 3-word text message for hidden meanings, you are missing the laughter of your friends. You are trading your actual life for a fantasy life. The brain chemistry of unrequited love is almost identical to cocaine withdrawal. You are in a state of craving, and like any addict, you think the cure is the drug. You think the only thing that will make you feel better is the person who is making you feel sick. But the cure is not the person. The cure is breaking the machine. How do we break it? It starts with a brutal confrontation with reality. We have to stop reading between the lines and start reading the lines themselves. If they are not calling, it is because they do not want to call. If they are not making time, it is because you are not a priority. This sounds harsh, but it is actually liberating. It frees you from the prison of maybe. It closes the door that you have been keeping cracked open, letting the cold draft in. We have to realize that our attraction to their distance is a symptom, not a destiny. We have to learn to tolerate the boredom of safety. We have to retrain our nervous systems to recognize that butterflies in the stomach are not always a sign of love. Sometimes they are the body's fight or flight response signaling danger. There's a Japanese concept called wabi-sabi, the acceptance of transience and imperfection. In relationships, we often seek the perfect, unreachable porcelain idol. We want the statue that never cracks. But real love, the kind that sustains and nourishes, is often cracked. It is messy. It is available. It is right there in front of you. The people who want us are often the ones we overlook because they don't trigger that electric anxiety we have mistaken for chemistry. We have to ask ourselves, do I want to be adored or do I want to be ignored? Do I want a partner or do I want a project? Ultimately, the desire for those who don't want us is a desire to avoid ourselves. It is a way to externalize our internal emptiness. If I am chasing you, I don't have to look at me. If I am obsessed with your silence, I don't have to listen to my own thoughts. The journey out of this trap requires turning the camera around. It requires becoming the protagonist of your own life, rather than the supporting character in someone else's drama. It requires realizing that your value does not fluctuate based on someone else's inability to see it. You are not a stock on the market. You are not a slot machine. You are the house. And the house always wins, but only when it stops playing the game against the player who refuses to bet. Walk away from the table. Put down the phone. Look at the empty space in your room and realize that it is not empty. It is full of you. It is full of potential that has nothing to do with being chosen. The most attractive trait in the human experience is not unavailability. It is autonomy. It is the ability to stand in your own light without needing someone else's shadow to define it. When you stop chasing the ghosts, you finally become real. And it is only when you are real that you can be truly seen by someone who is looking for you right now. in the same silence you used to fear, the shadow of the ideal self. We must go deeper into the psychology of the mirror. When we look at the person who rejects us, we are often seeing a reflection of the person we wish we were. Perhaps they are cool and detached, and we feel chaotic and needy. Perhaps they are successful and artistic, and we feel mundane. We are not just desiring them, we are desiring to consume their qualities. We think that by being close to them, by being chosen by them, some of their magic dust will rub off on us. We are cannibals of the soul. We want to eat their essence to fill the holes in our own identity. This is why rejection hurts so viscerally. It is not just a romantic no. It is a confirmation that we are not part of the elite club. It is a confirmation that we are indeed the chaotic, needy, mundane person we fear we are. The unavailable person becomes the gatekeeper to our own self-worth. Think of the stories we love. The Great Gatsby chasing Daisy. He didn't just want Daisy. He wanted what she represented: old money, ease, grace, a world he was excluded from. He built a mansion and threw parties just to get her attention. He died chasing a green light at the end of a dock. We are all Gatsby. We are all building mansions, whether they are physical gyms or career achievements or curated Instagram profiles, hoping that if we build it big enough, the person on the other side of the bay will finally row over. But the tragedy of Gatsby is the tragedy of us all. Daisy was never worth it. She was just a person, a flawed, careless person. The green light was just a light bulb. The meaning was entirely generated by Gatsby's longing. This leads us to the biology of scarcity. In ancient times, if a food source was fleeing, it was likely high value. A gazelle runs, a berry bush sits still. We are evolutionarily wired to chase. Our eyes are drawn to movement, to that which recedes. The person who leans back activates our predator drive. The person who leans and feels like the berry bush, easy, guaranteed, and therefore easily ignored. We have to fight millions of years of biology to understand that in modern human relationships, the gazelle is not the prize. A relationship is not a hunt. It is a garden. It requires staying still. It requires tending. It requires patience. But the modern mind, overstimulated and dopamine fried, has no patience for gardening. We want the kill. We want the rush. There's also the dark comfort of the victim narrative. There is a strange, melancholy pleasure in listening to sad songs, staring out the window, and feeling misunderstood. Being the one who loves unrequitedly gives us a noble identity. It makes us feel deep. Look how much I can love, we tell ourselves. Look how much pain I can endure. We wear our suffering like a badge of honor. We become martyrs of romance. If we actually found a healthy, reciprocal relationship, we would have to give up this identity. We would have to be just a normal person in a normal partnership, dealing with dishes and taxes and compromise. The unrequited lover gets to live in the realm of the absolute, the infinite, the tragic. It is a high drama that makes ordinary life feel dull. But ask yourself, how much of your life has been stolen by this drama? How many hours have you spent decoding texts? How many friends have you exhausted with the same circular conversations? The opportunity cost of chasing the unavailable is staggering. It is the businesses you didn't start, the trips you didn't take, the healthy people you walked past without a second glance. You are paying for this addiction with the only currency you truly have, your time. The way out requires a radical act of self-compassion. You have to treat yourself like a child you are responsible for. If you saw a child begging for attention from someone who was ignoring them, you wouldn't tell the child to try harder. You wouldn't tell them to change their outfit or be funnier. You would take the child by the hand and lead them away. You would say, "Come with me. You don't belong here." You have to be that adult for yourself. You have to physically and digitally remove yourself from the source of the pain. Block the number. Mute the stories. Stop the surveillance. It will feel like dying. It will feel like the world is ending. But it is just the fever breaking. And slowly, the silence changes. It stops being a void that needs to be filled by them and starts being a space where you can hear yourself. You start to remember who you were before you started waiting. You remember that you like jazz, or that you hate olives, or that you want to learn to surf. You begin to occupy your own life again. And a strange thing happens when you do this. When you stop chasing, the energy shifts. You become the gazelle. You become the high-value resource. Not because you are playing a game, but because you have genuinely remembered your worth. But by then, when they finally turn around to look at you, you often find that you no longer care. You have moved on. You have realized that the green light was just a light, and you have your own sun to bask in. The illusion of the soulmate is often the padlock on the cage. We convince ourselves that this person, this specific unavailable person, is the one. The universe sent them. The stars aligned. If we let go, we are defying fate. This is magical thinking. It is a defense mechanism against the randomness of life. The truth is far more practical and far less romantic. There are many people you could love. There are many people who could love you, but you will never meet them if your eyes are fixed on a closed door. The myth of the one keeps us trapped in a scarcity mindset. It makes us believe that if this fails, we are doomed to eternal loneliness. We must replace the myth of the one with the reality of the good enough. The good enough partner who shows up, who communicates, who tries. It doesn't sound as exciting as the tragic soulmate, but it is the foundation of every happy life you have ever admired. Let's end with a shift in perspective. Imagine you are 90 years old. You are sitting on a porch, looking back at the tapestry of your life. Will you wish you had spent more time waiting for a text message? Will you wish you had spent more years trying to convince someone to love you? Or will you wish you had been loved? Will you wish you had been held? Will you wish you had spent your passion on someone who returned it, amplifying it, creating a feedback loop of joy rather than a drain of anxiety? You have the power to change that narrative right now. The phone is in your hand. You can put it down. You can walk out the door. You can choose the terrifying, boring, beautiful path of being available for your own life. The chase ends when you decide you are the prize.